Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Midwestern Martial Arts Podcast. Back with my co host, Matt. We're going to be
So,
talking about UFC 276. Chris Pratt talking some junk on Israel Adesanya, throwing some shade at him, and, and some other stuff. Yeah, how's it going, Matt?
good, good, exciting past couple of weeks of martial arts. I feel like a lot of stuff has came out. Like not even just the fights. I feel like just like a lot of stuff has happened within like the MMA community,
Mm-hmm.
even. So, um, it was nice to kind of have something new. I feel like, and something like almost that revamped like UFC a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been kind of the same stuff that's been happening, just fights been happening, and nothing really exciting. But I feel like we got a lot of like exciting information, a lot to look forward to from this past couple of weeks. So pumped up, I'm
Yeah,
excited.
International Fight Week's always cool. I
It
feel like
is.
some people thought it was maybe underwhelming because there were so many people criticizing like Adesanya or even Jared Cannonier, which I don't necessarily agree with. But
I don't either.
the fight card was so stacked, there was no way it was gonna be crappy. I was hoping the Volkanovski Holloway fight would be more competitive,
That was
but
insane.
that was still insane to watch.
Like I I'm a big fan of Volk. I'm a huge fan of Holloway. I like was not expecting that to be the outcome at all. Like not at any moment before that fight did I think that was gonna happen. But then you look at how the fight played out. Like Volk had 204 strikes compared to Max's 161. Like who outstrikes Max Holloway like that? Absolutely nobody. Like you just cannot do it. That guy constantly throws punches and constantly puts pressure on you. But it looked like Volk was just like, screw you, I'm gonna beat you at your own game. Like there was like no takedowns really. They're just literally standing and banging the whole time. And the whole time Volk's like, I'm too fast, I'm too good for you, and like he just proved that as the fight went on. Like went deeper into the fight and he just got better. So
He was really powerful and accurate
he
as
was.
well, and it reminded me of the Poirier fight where Holloway couldn't get his momentum going in his striking because Poirier kept hitting him with powerful counters. And Volkanovski has similar power. He's so strong. He used to be a 200 some pound rugby player.
Yeah.
And now he's just a little powerhouse. And every time Holloway would try and put a combo together, Volk would put three or four together, like
And he's
just
fast.
smoking him
Yeah.
and lightning fast. It was like, wow, this
And it's
dude is one of the
crazy.
best
Like
pound for pound.
he is, yeah. And people were kind of questioning that. I feel like before this fight,
Yeah.
like they're like he beat Holloway, but like the two fights were close. So like people were like, you can't really make him like the best ever, from that or the best, one of the goats. But like this is a goat performance. Like if this is doesn't add to it at least, like this is huge for a step towards that.
Yeah.
It's hard to pass someone like Usman who's been so dominant as champion in the welterweight division. But like Volk's what? Like this is his like 22nd win in a row or his 21st win in a row.
Yeah.
Like he's insane. This guy's insane.
They, I mean, they kind of, I will say, they kind of overplayed the idea that he's lapped that division.
Right.
Like, there's still more fights for him in featherweight versus if you look at Usman, he's fighting Leon Edwards, who's someone he fought, I don't know, like 8 fights
Yeah.
ago. He's Leon Edwards' last loss, and now Leon's on an 8 fight win streak. He's beaten Colby twice, beaten Masvidal twice. He's actually lapped the division. Volkanovski hasn't fought Calvin Cater. He hasn't fought Josh Emmett. And then of course there's other people that he hasn't fought twice, like Ortega. So there's more fights for him in that division. But it would be fun to see him go up to lightweight. He says he wants to defend both belts. So if he wants to be that active, I mean, I know he broke his hand here.
In the first round too.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Charles is a winnable fight for him, but I don't see too many paths to victory. Definitely would favor Charles in that one, and then if it's Islam, I definitely don't think that's a good fight for Volkanovski. I think he probably gets Smash Brother.
Yes, I mean like, and also that's just such a gauntlet of a division to go up to fight a double champion. Like it was, it's not like how it was for McGregor. Like that division when McGregor went up to go double champ. Like Eddie Alvarez was the champion at the time, who was a good fighter, but like McGregor was just on a roll. He had the momentum. They kind of gave him the same thing as the Jose Aldo thing with like the press conferences and stuff. So like at the end of the day, like McGregor had that fight won before they went into the cage. Like it was the same thing with Aldo. You know what I mean? But to go up for Volk, like, you just go up with dudes that don't care. Like, Justin Gaethje does not care what you say to him. Oliveira does not care what you say to him. Michael Chandler doesn't care. Like, none of these guys care. They're just looking to hurt you. And obviously, Volk's a really good fighter, but when I look at guys like Poirier, Gaethje, Oliveira, they just seem like way too big for Volk to do like what he wants to him. You know what I mean? Like, Holloway's even like a skinny 145 pounder, you know. And but you have these guys that are brawlers that will trade in the pocket, like Justin Gaethje and Chandler, who hit really, really hard. You know, that's something that Volk maybe hasn't faced before. I don't know, but I would love to see it. I'm all
I'd like
for
to
it.
see. I mean, he's fought at welterweight and lightweight. His last loss was at welterweight. So I guess he knows he can do it on some level, but against that high talent, we'll see. The super fight I want to see, honestly, if he's in shape, is Cejudo versus Volkanovski. I'd love to see Cejudo go for his third belt and see Volk, just take on that challenge. But yeah,
that'd be a different kind of opponent than he's faced before. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean Cejudo's got a lot of unique skills.
Right. I mean, he beat Demetrius Johnson.
And
you got to be
Dominic
good.
Cruz.
Yeah, and Dominic Cruz and Dillashaw.
And Marlon Moraes.
He beat a lot of good people, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
What I thought was interesting, last thing about this Volk fight, is Holloway actually went for 3 takedowns. I feel like I don't remember that happening.
I think, I don't know.
Which is weird, because like that's a weird stat to look at. Like 0 for 3. Obviously, he's 0 for 3 on takedowns, but then Volk had none. Like, you could tell Max was just panicking. Like, that's why he never would shoot, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he just throws punches. He gets in brawls with people. He doesn't care.
Volk had 199 significant strikes out of 204 total. So that's how accurate he was. Almost every single strike he threw out of over 200 of them were, like, hurt Max Holloway.
What's next for Holloway?
Max, I don't. He needs to. His chin is insane.
Yeah.
How does he not? He's never been dropped. That is absolutely nuts.
I know, and he took those shots from Volk and just kept going kind of forward too. He never really takes a step back when he gets hit. But I'm interested to see what they do with him next. Like, if Volk does bump up, then is it like Holloway's back in the interim title picture with like Josh Emmett, and then wins the title again, and then fights Volk again? Like, is that what happens? Like, they can't keep fighting. Like, Volk is the type of guy that probably would fight Holloway again, especially after that performance.
I think they need an immediate rematch.
But like at this point, man,
number 4.
They've fought so many times, and like if I'm Volk, that doesn't interest me anymore.
I don't know what Holloway should do. I wonder if has he ever talked about trying his hand at boxing. I bet you there's like if he were to, fight out his contract and take some fun fights at featherweight that maybe he were winnable, or even at lightweight. I don't know. He could do like some celebrity boxing stuff. He's pretty popular now.
Yeah, he is pretty popular.
If I was him, that's what I would start looking to do, because it's like, you're not going to go up to lightweight. He's, it's kind of been shown that his style, he's not able to get his momentum going against guys like Poirier, the better lightweights, who are going to do the same thing Volkanovski did to him. And he can't beat Volkanovski, so I don't know. Maybe he doesn't mind hanging around in the sport and just beating up guys or being a gatekeeper, but I don't see him doing that, and I feel like he should try and make some money.
Right, I feel like I think he's huge into gaming now. He streams.
Right.
I think he makes a lot of money off of
He's not
that,
as good
actually.
at it as us.
Right, obviously
he doesn't have a dank podcast,
No.
but
You say dank.
yeah, dank. It's dankety dank in this podcast.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go away.
Let's move on though to another. Let's just start at the bottom of the card now. I mean, we kind of went from just right away for the co-main, but whatever. Sean O'Malley, Pedro Munoz. Obviously disappointing ending with the eye poke. I thought O'Malley was winning the fight, I guess, beforehand. The striking was close, though. Munoz actually was winning 26/25 for strikes, but I felt like O'Malley was blocking a lot of those strikes and also keeping good distance, and Munoz didn't really seem to have a rhythm going. And I feel like O'Malley just gets better as the fight goes on anyway. Like, he uses that first round to kind of feel guys out. And get their combos and get their speed down a little bit. Then he attacks in the second, and that's when he starts to pick it up and kind of pick guys apart a little bit. We didn't get to see that. I mean, we saw a little bit of round 2, but obviously the eye poke was the end of the fight.
I think
Munoz got hurt I mean, nothing you can really do about it, I guess.
Yeah,
Close your
his eye
fist.
was actually hurt.
Don't have your lead hand like this, I guess, to catch everything. Start closing it or start enforcing that rule a lot more.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do that still. So
I think O'Malley was finding his range for sure. And I know some people were mad at him for saying, he got a finish and treating this like a win. Because, yeah, that's definitely not what it was.
No.
They should probably run it back. But one thing I did agree with him on in his post-fight assessment was he said they were scoring Pedro's leg kicks as, like, attacks for Pedro. And O'Malley was, like, checking a lot of those. And he has a reputation for having weak knees. But he was, like, turning his leg out. And Munoz was, like, his shin kept hitting O'Malley, like, right in the outside of the knee. Like, that had to hurt Munoz. And it looked like that was his whole strategy, was to kick O'Malley's leg out. And then O'Malley was starting to find his range. And I don't know. It looked to me like Munoz was getting a little desperate as that strategy wasn't working. Or as it was even hurting him. So I think O'Malley, that showed he really improved that aspect of his game. He's worked on checking leg kicks, and if they do a rematch, Munoz needs to figure something else out. He can't just chop and hope to hit the whatever nerve in O'Malley's calf and have his legs turn to jelly again.
Like, everyone thinks you're his Cheeto Vera now and can finish him that way.
Right.
No, but honestly, like, it is disappointing. Obviously, we wish Pedro Munoz the best. Hopefully, he can come back fast.
I don't. I hope he's blind.
You hope he's blind?
No, that was really mean. Pedro Munoz would knock me out.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, I hope your eye's okay, Pedro. I didn't mean that.
And obviously, we wanted to see if O'Malley was really the hype, I guess. This wasn't the make or break of it, but this was a step in that direction. This was, like, probably the toughest thing since Cheeto. And obviously, we saw how that went, which was another weird ending. Like, both really good guys that he's fought have ended in weird ways. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting little thing here. I don't know. I think they have to run it back. I don't know. You know how O'Malley is. He kind of just picks and chooses at this point, really. So
he can't stay away from controversy, though.
No.
He seems to. Yeah, he's still lacking that signature win.
Right.
Which I know he really wants, but.
I mean, maybe
he'll get a chance. Be patient,
Maybe
Sean.
they give him, like, Garbrandt next. Finally.
Oh no.
And they just take Cody out of the game now. Like,
nobody wants that.
They, like, I mean, that's gonna be just the worst press conferences and interviews ever.
Cody's on like a 6-fight losing. Yeah, Cody will just be yelling at him.
He has no idea what he's saying.
Dude, he's on like a 6-fight losing streak. There's no way he's still ranked.
No, the only fight he's won is that one against the Sun Sow where he knocked him out with that wild like last second hook at the end of the round. But
sick.
That was crazy.
Like, Cody is back.
He's back, dude.
Back to get knocked out 3 times. That's the same one that fought
Cruz. I can't believe he destroyed Cruz that bad. And then it was Dillashaw. Dillashaw just, like, broke him. That was the end of him.
So, yeah. R.I.P.
But anyway, yeah, so that fight ended in a disappointing way, but hopefully they run it back, and hopefully Munoz comes back fast. Or hopefully we see O'Malley compete again. Quick turnaround, since he really didn't take that much damage, or any damage probably, since the fight was stopped so fast. So, yeah, hopefully we can see that one again. But next fight, Robbie Lawler, Brian Barberena.
Bam bam.
This guy's
man.
Got the best outfit for the press conference too. He just shows up in these overalls.
That's true, and he's not great with his words, and it's like he knew that, so he's like, I'll just wear overalls.
Yes,
I'll just kind of do my own thing. Yeah,
smart guy.
It worked well. He fit in with he's surrounded by all the more well-known, louder fighters.
Right, like he didn't have. Well, no one could talk because like Strickland was talking all the time. Right.
Yeah.
Like Strickland was just like the drunk guy at
literally
any social event.
Your drunk uncle at Christmas is just like telling the kids about how 9/11 was an inside.
Yeah, and it's just like, Sean, dude, come on. Like, this is why we don't invite you to family events anymore. Like, this is like that kind of thing. But back to the main point here, Robbie Lawler, Brian Barberena. I thought Robbie Lawler was coming from the grave and was gonna finish him, dude. He looked like it, and then he just got so tired. Like his bones, his muscles, his conditioning. They were like, "We're piecing, homie. We're done."
Yeah, arthritis caught up to it.
Knock you out now. I'm sorry. And then the end of the fight, like it was a typical Robbie Lawler thing. He like couldn't stand up straight, couldn't even see. He probably thought he was back in the day fighting Johnny Hendricks or something. But he's like telling the ref like, I'm okay, I'm fine. Like, why'd you stop the fight? Like, Robbie, you were about to be dead. like, like you were about to never fight again.
Well, I hope he doesn't fight again.
God, he's going to.
What's he at? 16 losses. That's the same as Jim Miller and what Cerrone was at before he retired.
Oh, God, where's the
Thankfully.
cowboy hat, dude?
Oh,
Shout
yeah.
out to Donald
I
Cowboy
retired it.
Cerrone. What a great career, honestly. And Jim Miller for
Yes.
being a badass still.
Jim Miller used to be one of my favorite fighters, and it's crazy to me he's still fighting.
Yeah.
I won money on his fight with Roosevelt Roberts, actually.
I think I remember you saying that,
Yeah.
actually.
But Brian Bam Bam Barberena
Yeah.
just literally, like, it was like if when you're playing UFC 4, if you just hit, like, square, like, straight, that was Barberena straight.
And Lawler
And
just
Lawler's
couldn't keep
just
his
like-
hands up.
More of those straights started landing, and after about 400 of them accumulated, Lawler had brain damage.
He had 148
I hope he
total strikes. 147 were significant.
Holy crap!
Brian Barberena's.
I do hope Robbie Lawler calls it quits because he's had a great career. He's got nothing left to prove, and like, but at this point, like, if you can't still beat Brian Barberena,
He's got 8
like,
losses.
right? Yeah, and he hasn't ever been able to break through to the top of the division. That's probably Barberena's best win of his career.
Right.
I don't know, maybe one more fight for Robbie that you know he can win. Maybe
And
give
send
him the
him
Nick
off.
Diaz rematch, yeah, and then retire and put him in a home. Just kidding. Sorry, Robbie. He's still a beast. He
He is a
slammed
beast.
Ben Askren on his head like a child.
And he takes people's souls.
He takes people's souls too. He's scary as hell. So
All right, let's move on to another interesting guy. Obviously, our boy Sean Strickland. We were pretty high on this guy going into the fight week. We were like, we're kind of rooting for him. We kind of want him. But then he got on the mic, and then I'm like, I'm not really rooting for you as much now. He just talked. And Alex.
what are you? I have a question for Sean. Like, why did you stand right in front of him, and then why are you saying now like you would do the same thing again?
Right.
There's a reason you lost.
Maybe
you
he has
should
a
do something
concussion.
different so you try and win. That's true.
Maybe
He was taking videos like right after he got
Yeah.
knocked out. But I was sitting here watching the fight with my friend, and I'm like, this guy's gonna get knocked out because Strickland was just like not moving his head off the center line, which is what he normally does. But I thought he was gonna at least try and wrestle. And then guy's like, who? And I was like, the white guy. Our friend Guy, who I was
Yeah.
watching the fight. I'm like, the white guy's gonna get knocked out. He's like, no way. And then, wham! Like right after I said that, like, if you watch any of P. Harris fights, even just watch the highlights, all he needs is one left hook. And like, if you're walking down the center line just trying to parry, all he had to do was fake a jab, and Strickland went to parry, and he came over the top of the left
Right.
hook.
Yeah, and he showed that. Like, there's a video of him doing it on Glover after the fight. He was like, he kept parrying my shots, so I went body and then head hook. And yeah, honestly, like, you were Strickland, man. Like, you were talking at the press conference to Izzy, like, tell me not what I shouldn't do, Izzy. Tell me what I shouldn't do. Like, he's knocked you out twice, saying all this. He's knocked Izzy out with that same hook. Like, now you just look stupid, man. And now it's just like, God, I wish they could have had an actual fight to see if, Strickland was the real deal and could take him down or even strike with him and not just walk right into him. Like, that wasn't even striking. That was just like, please knock me out. Like, had a sign with him that said, please left hook me and drop me. But it also just proves how dangerous Pereira is.
Yeah, Alex Pereira is a beast.
Like,
'Cause
this is gonna
Strickland
be
hasn't
nuts.
lost in like 4 years. He
No.
is good. He's
He's the top 4 guy.
a better striker than most guys in the division. P. Harris is just different
Right.
level of striking.
And
He hits as hard as a Ford Escort,
he
just like Ngannou.
yeah.
Dana told me.
He hits so hard. We
Two
watched his
Ford Escorts.
we watched his highlights. What was that, yesterday? We were watching like his scariest knockouts or something. That man just literally leaves people to die.
Yeah.
And like one guy, the first guy he knocked out in MMA was out after he punched him for 5 minutes. Like they couldn't wake him up. Like, that's scary to me.
That happened to my uncle after he got hit by a Ford Escort.
That he got hit by Alex Pereira. That's what happened.
Oh.
You just confused the two.
Yeah, it's the same thing. One time I watched Alex Pereira punch a Ford Escort at full speed and it blew up.
Who won though? Yeah, but like the Ford Escort obviously hits.
Pereira
hard.
was fine.
Okay.
He was like, I want to thank this Ford Escort for fight with me today. Just like he said to Sean Strickland. Sorry, we shouldn't mock Sean Strickland. He's such a good fighter.
Yeah, we like
I just
Sean
don't
Strickland,
understand the
actually.
strategy. He's
No.
hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm glad he got some time in the spotlight.
And I hope he fights again soon. You know, I hope they give him someone that's good again. Cause like, I feel like it might have just been like an ego thing. Like
Yeah.
I want to just stand with this guy
It
to prove that I
100%
can stand with
was.
this guy.
No
My
need.
guy, you need to take some advice from Izzy and fight the fight to win. Everybody hates on Izzy for doing that, but
True.
that boy don't get knocked out anymore.
Who cares if the fans boo?
Right.
Honestly, I'd rather hear them boo than get knocked out.
Right. That's
the
just
GSP said.
that's smart. But next, obviously, is it sets up this huge fight between Alex Pereira and Izzy Adesanya. Izzy called him out. Izzy said that's the next fight. Obviously, that's going to be the one that happens then because Izzy kind of calls the shots of who he fights now. So, yeah, this is going to be the next fight. It's going to be awesome. Obviously, the whole thing is going to be Izzy. They're going to show Izzy getting knocked out 80 million times by Pereira. So if you're looking for a nice drinking game with your buddies, take who's the dude that fought Kamzat?
Gilbert Burns.
No. The one that got knocked out.
Oh, Gerald Mearshart.
Yeah, Gerald. Yeah. Take his advice and make a drinking game out of how many times they show Pereira knocking out Izzy. It's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be the whole hype video is gonna be that.
Yeah.
But
it kind of looks like a Ford Escort is hitting Izzy.
I've never seen a Ford Escort with boxing gloves on until I saw him. Like, that's nuts. But anyway, sets up an awesome fight. I think Izzy takes the third fight. Just early prediction for the people. I think Izzy's gotten a lot better since they fought, obviously. MMA is a different game. Izzy's kind of taken over MMA. And Alex Pereira is still new to this game, even though he is an incredible kickboxer and obviously is very good at MMA as well. Izzy's team has always game planned extremely well. He's always followed the game plan to a T in every fight that he's had, which ends up with him winning. So
yeah, their team is really blown up.
it is, and it's starting to become a really good team within the UFC between Volk, him, Kai Kara France, Brad Riddell, like all those guys. Even though Brad Riddell lost Jalen Turner, who was really good, by the way.
Yeah,
that team's good though. So
it'd be interesting if Izzy came out and wrestled Pereira.
Yeah.
But even then, like from bottom, a Ford Escort would still hurt. So it's like I feel like Pereira can just land one of these.
As long as he left hooks him from bottom and knocks him out.
From guard.
No, but Pereira does train with Glover, so like. That guy's pretty good on the ground. I know it takes a while to learn those things, and Pereira probably hasn't gotten to an elite status of grappling yet, by any means, like Glover is, but that's still somebody that's really, really good to have in your camp for that kind of thing. But
and I don't know that Izzy is gonna, because offensive wrestling's different than defensive. Like all he has to do is get away from you, like that fight with Derek Brunson. He just kept getting away from him and then landing knees and strikes, while backpedaling, basically. Right. So I don't know if he'll be able to, offensive wrestle Pereira.
That is true. I would never seen him really offensive wrestle ever.
Right.
That'll be interesting. Also, Izzy's just gotten really good even better at striking than he was, too. Especially since it's going to be a whole new fight. Like obviously people think the past is the past, and that could affect Izzy going into fight night. Somebody that's beaten you twice, it's hard to kind of get over that, but he's also one of the best guys mentally, I feel like, in the game. So I feel like it's not really going to distract him that much. He's not going to buy into the hype of what happened in the past, because these guys get to a point where you don't worry about that stuff. You worry about what's right in front of you. Like, that's how you become champion at things, I feel like. That's just one of the things.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, at this point, he hits as hard as a Ford Fiesta.
Dude, I'm so tired of this car thing. Everybody comment for Eddie to stop making car jokes. Or jokes in general.
And Sean Strickland looked like he got laid out by a truck.
Sean Strickland was like a little buggy. Like one of those bug cars,
Yeah.
The yellow ones.
I hope Sean Strickland comes back and
So
gets
do
a
I.
big fight. I hope this wasn't his last time.
No,
I don't
I
know if
feel
the
like
UFC wants him at another press conference.
Who do they give him though? Like, do you give him Cannonier?
Cannonier? Oh, yeah, I guess. They're at the same division. They both just lost. That's a tough fight, though. Yeah, I
but
guess.
you gotta give him somebody good. You know, you can't
That's
give
true.
him someone. You can't give him someone bad.
Right.
I mean, maybe like Brunson. But
Yeah.
Brunson keeps losing or just lost.
Well,
too.
he just lost a Cannonier.
That's right. Yeah, that was the only loss he had.
He beats pretty much everyone
Or
else.
maybe if and Strickland's already beaten Hermanson, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yes, he did. He beat him
Yeah.
by split decision.
Yeah, so like you can't give him that fight. And Hermanson, speaking of which, Darren Till sadly pulled out of UFC London. Did you see that
Yes.
injury? So Chris Curtis, actually, who we just talked
Oh,
about
really?
on the last episode,
Oh, nice.
who is Strickland's teammate,
Yeah.
is now gonna step in and fight on short notice, which is kind of crazy because he just fought.
You know who I could see them giving Sean Strickland? Is Kamzat, if they still want to have Kamzat doing the middleweight thing.
Yeah, that is true. They
But-
could do that. I don't know.
I don't know
who
if they
else-
want him to keep climbing 2 divisions at once. They might want him to just focus on
after that
welterweight.
Burns fight. They're like,
Right.
maybe should have. Whoops. Maybe we should. Save
Maybe he'd be
your-
better at middleweight, though, because he looked pretty skinny in that Burns fight.
That is true. Maybe he would. Let's see. You could give him. Okay, well, Paulo Costa's definitely should not be in the middleweight rankings anymore.
Boy, a heavyweight.
Since that boy keep missing weight, yeah.
And Anthony Johnson.
Give him, cause like Vittori and Whitaker are fighting.
Oh, Andre Muniz just won on that card.
Oh yeah, he beat Uriah Hall.
You could fight him.
That is true. That probably puts Munoz in the top within the top 10, not just at 10. So you could give him that fight. Strickland's at 7 now. Pereira jumped from not ranked to 6th. So yeah, I mean I don't know. Paulo Costa fights Luke Rockhold this month, right? Or is it next month? It might be on the it might be on the Usman card actually. So that's an interesting fight as well.
I've been ignoring that one. Luke
Yeah,
Rockhold
so
makes me
have I.
cringe. And
I've
so
been
does
looking,
Costa.
dude. I've been thinking that for so long now, but every time I get on social media, I see a Luke Rockhold quote.
He's a
about
meme
Izzy or about like, no, but it's not even like it's just people like quoting like.
Oh, like I could beat Izzy?
Like I'm the only one that can beat Izzy. Like, what makes you think that, Luke Rockhold?
Because it's facts, bro.
Concede, believe, achieve.
Shut the fuck.
No, but yeah, I mean that's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Strickland after that. After he almost died. So.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing on this card here. Izzy and Cannonier went to decision. I don't think Izzy lost a round. I think he won every round. People were not happy about the fight, obviously. I mean, people are starting to call Izzy a boring champion and a boring fighter, which makes no sense to me. But,
I mean, it's
I mean,
the same pattern as Anderson Silva's career. He had like 3 fights in the middle of his career. It was a little bit of a different thing because he wasn't even really being challenged. He was fighting like Talis Latis, Damian Maia, and Patrick Cote, who had no chance of taking him down, and Silva would just kind of, jab him to death on the feet and taunt them a lot. And people started calling him a boring champ until he was really pushed by Chael Sonnen. And Izzy was like, there's a reason he wins all these fights. It's because he's being more active than his opponents.
Right.
He's throwing more strikes than his opponents, and he's landing more strikes. That's how he wins every round. But then people are mad when he can't find a finish because he doesn't hit as hard as a Ford Escort. So, but he wins every fight and every round. I don't know.
Yeah, I
And-
mean, and I think DC put it best, like we were talking about yesterday. Like DC went on, or he was on the show on his RC or whatever, RC Cola show or whatever the hell it is.
DC drinks RC Cola.
DC's definitely an RC Cola guy. Shout out DC. But DC said people are hating on Izzy for being a boring fighter and saying that fight was boring. But if Cannonier is gonna coast to a decision loss, why is it Izzy's job to pick up the rest of that slack and get a finish? Like, at the end of the day, it takes 2 to tango, like DC said. Like, Jared Cannonier could have done more to try to win the fight, but he coasted to a decision
Absolutely.
loss.
All he tried to do was hold Izzy up against the fence so he wouldn't get popped in the face anymore.
Right. And, like, yeah, he went for 4 takedowns and got 0 of them. So like realistically, it just looks like Izzy fought a good fight, and even Izzy said that he was a little off in the fight. He just didn't feel right in the fight, but he still killed him in the fight. He still, like I think that people aren't really taking the fight for what it was, just the fact that there wasn't a finish and just the fact that there was a Pereira finish.
Yeah, but you don't know what Chris Pratt knows.
Oh my god.
All right, Chris Pratt has been training for his Amazon Prime movie, and I'll have you know that the Pentagon, the actual U.S. State Department, and the Navy have been involved in training Chris Pratt for this movie. Not because the movie is government propaganda. Definitely not imperialist pro-war propaganda created by the Pentagon. Chris Pratt just knows his shit, man.
He does.
He's a deadly trained warrior because of these movie sets he's been on with Navy SEALs, and he can tell Israel Adesanya that he's boring, and he needs to do more to appease the heroes who fight for our freedom by making propaganda movies in Hollywood, like Chris Pratt. I'm kidding. Shut the fuck up, Chris Pratt.
Hey,
douchebag.
This is basically, guys, what Chris Pratt had to say following UFC 276 main event. Actually, I pulled up this article. It says that he apologized.
Thank God. Good.
Pratt apologizes. So basically, he just got bitched. Like,
yeah.
See you, buddy.
Did.
Pack a lunch. But anyway, he said, I'm going to say this as humbly as I can. I've never stepped into the octagon. I don't know this game. I'm just an actor, but I'm not a fan, man. I'm not a fan of coming out with all that talk and then just kind of putting on a little bit of a pitter-patter performance. I'm like, come on, man. You got to cash on that promise of being so badass. Like, he really just said that Israel Adesanya is not a badass?
He just beat a dude who's on like an 8-fight win streak who used to be a heavyweight.
Like, he's literally like...
Please, Chris Pratt, go and fight Jared Cannonier.
Right.
Please. He's going to be like this, and you're going to look across the cage and be like, time to cash in on my promises to be a badass. You're an idiot.
You know, Chris Pratt, you probably get knocked out by Artem Lobov, my guy. Like, let's be realistic. You could fight anybody in the UFC. It's not just... You're not going to win. Like, that's what makes me so mad about UFC fans, like MMA fans. Like, guys like this that just can say that Israel Adesanya, who, by the way, is, like, the champion of a UFC division, is boring and, like, not a badass. Like, he didn't live up to being a badass. I want him to go say that to Izzy and see what happens. Like, go train with Izzy one day. Maybe go through one, like, MMA workout with Izzy.
And it's like, yeah, it's like they think these fights are, like, pro wrestling.
Right.
It's like because Izzy did a pro wrestling entrance, the fight should also be like pro wrestling. It should be really entertaining for me. Well, guess what? Jared Cannonier is really, really good, and he's been training for this for the last 15 years. So it's going to be really hard to put on a flawless victory like it's a Tekken game.
Right.
I know you don't realize that, Chris Pratt, because everything you've ever done in your life is staged, and, you know, you're managed by directors and people around you, because that's what an actor is. But these are real fights, and these people are really good.
And then, of course, Izzy, being the comedian that he is, had to clap back at Chris Pratt on Twitter. So the next day, he woke up and said, "Good morning," with a smiley face. "I'm the man. You're just some fan." And then also attached a video from one of Chris Pratt's movies where he gets hit in the face, and the words and the keyboard comes up as like "F you" type of thing. So just clapping back at him. And then I guess I haven't seen this yet. Pratt apologized. He said, "You're right. I'm sorry, brother. It bugs me when people criticize my work, having never themselves risked anything. It makes me a hypocrite to do exactly that to you. My bad. Keep on keeping, champ. Keep on keeping on."
Well, Chris Pratt, I'm still gonna criticize your work because it's government propaganda.
Like, also though, like, would you have said that if Izzy didn't call you out, or like make you look like an idiot, or like if you wouldn't have gotten so much heat for it?
True.
Like, why'd you even say it in the first place then? Like,
you obviously think it's true.
Now he tweeted this just to make his persona look better. Like, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, right? Like, I don't know. It seems stupid to me. I just made a video on our TikTok too about how like people were calling Izzy boring, and I just don't feel as if this guy who was trained to hurt people in a cage and defend himself at all times as well needs to take advice from people on social media accounts or like the drunk guy in the stands.
Yeah.
Like that's the least of the concern of those guys. Like they have families and futures, and like this is their profession. At the end of the day, they're gonna do what's best for them. At the end of the day, if it was a different sport, like people maybe run down the clock in football to not lose a game, but people don't say anything about that. Like they're just
People
like,
need
it's part
to-
of the game, you know. Like it's part of the game of MMA too to not get hit and to win a fight, you know.
Right. And they can't even. They don't have open scoring, so it's not like these guys know if they're winning going into the third round, so they can coast. You know, like you see in other sports. I don't know. Yeah, so they're always kind of going for the finish or going to try, especially with like, you know, the incentive that there is to get a performance bonus now.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, Chris Pratt in that situation is literally just a drunk guy. Like you're a drunk, or even if you're not drunk, you're just a fan. You're literally a fan yelling, you know, finish him. So, yeah.
But overall, good card. Like, also I'm just checking out the prelims.
Did you see Jessica I try to get people to chant her name at the open workout?
I did not know.
I felt really bad for her because,
No one.
I mean, yeah, she's like, I need, I think she said she was trying to get him to say, "Here we go, evil. Here we go," and she held it out, and no one did it.
So unfortunate. Well,
I know she's a good fighter too. She deserves that.
She is good.
You guys should have chanted for her.
I
Damn
don't
it.
know, but I would have chanted. I mean, if I'm in the stands too, I'm cheering for Macy Barber. That's who she fought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Macy, I love you. You know, like at the end of the day, like just look at her, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
You know. But anyway, no.
I kind of love Jessica I though.
Do you?
I just wanted people to chant her, do her chant.
Well, now she has
Messed
you.
up.
I'm sorry. I'm
Here we
Team
go,
Barber.
evil. Here we go. There you go, Jessica.
Anyway, you know, moving on. That was Macy Barber won by decision. But yeah, I was just checking out the prelims and stuff on this card. Ian Gary, another one. That quick shout out to him. He looked really good. He moved on to 10-0.
Fast hands.
In the welterweight division as well, so he is climbing up those ranks. They'll probably give him someone a little bit better. Hopefully, this next fight. This will be his third fight. So maybe someone within that top 15 range, maybe exactly 15-ish, 14-ish, will be good for him. Brad Tavares got to win. He lost, sorry. Brad Tavares lost by decision, so he's kind of been going down the ranks in that division as time's gone on. Actually, since he probably fought Izzy, honestly, right?
Didn't he get knocked out by Tim Kennedy?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It might have been forever. The Jalen Turner-Brad Riddle fight was awesome. Jalen Turner's a beast at lightweight.
And a
I did not
45-second
expect that.
submission.
I thought Brad Riddle would win that fight fairly easily.
Right. I thought
he
so
got
too.
starched. That was wild.
It actually kind of made me nervous for the rest of his team. Like I thought, like, oh, Volk and Izzy were probably planning on like a clean sweep. I'm like, again, that thing doesn't affect those guys that are that great, I'm sure, but like that's just how I thought as a fan. You know, like oh man, like that team momentum and team chemistry is huge even in that sport. So like, I don't know. I just thought that was gonna be interesting. See how they bounce back. Obviously, they bounced back completely fine and won the fights, but yeah.
Shout out to Australia.
No kidding, they killed it. And Kai Kara France fights on the next pay-per-view, I think.
All right,
Anyway,
let's react to Nick Diaz. This is if we would have had a podcast blank many years ago. I'll edit it in to the video here, but we'll just react to it over on the side. So we want to react to Nick Diaz when he made fun of Conor McGregor's movement coach, Ido Portal, the guy with the ponytail, who does a lot of interesting like movement sort of techniques with Conor. I don't know how much they really help, you know, especially compared to like traditional MMA training. But Nate Diaz called him out, famously calling it touch butt in the park.
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park, the ponytail. And I'm the one who ain't got no training partner? I don't think so. You seem to have it all figured out when you're fighting midgets. That shit.
Bring your training partners in. You're going to need them.
My whole team will fucking beat your whole team's ass. How about that?
So funny.
That had to have been one of the best lines in a press conference ever. Like, The fact that he just came out and said that, like he was just saying trading partners over and over again. I think something finally clicked to him. He was like, "Oh, this is good. I'm just gonna send this." And he said the touch butt thing with the dork. Like it's just so on cue for Diaz and so perfect. And you could just tell it like threw McGregor for a loop.
I'm
like,
pretty sure if you keep playing it, like McGregor doesn't even respond, or like Diaz sort of. McGregor responds once, and then Diaz sort of like.
JV squad on my team will beat your team's ass.
Yeah, he gets.
Yeah, he doesn't respond.
McGregor doesn't respond after Diaz says he's gonna beat his whole team's ass. He definitely won that exchange. That's so funny.
That is hilarious.
Oh, and I don't know. I feel like McGregor, Dewey was kind of right. Like one thing that you can criticize about McGregor for sure is like he really doesn't have much of a team. Like the only good person to come out of SBG Ireland has been him. You know, a lot of people have questioned Kavanaugh's coaching. I think he's a decent MMA coach. I just don't know if it's the best gym for Conor to be at when he's trying to be a world champ.
Well, he's the only guy that can teach how to axe kick after throwing a spinning kick as well. A spinning
a roundhouse kick.
Oh yeah, a roundhouse kick. So when Pasiv dodges back and sways like he does crazily in his Muay Thai training, then Conor is then gonna come back with an axe kick without putting his leg down just because he's a superhero. John Kavanagh is teaching elite striking.
Yeah.
And Muay Thai.
Stuff that's physically impossible.
Yes.
That's what you can do when you play touch butt in the park with
right.
Ito Portel.
That is what Ito Portel taught McGregor.
How to throw axe kicks.
Yes. What a beast.
Off of roundhouse kicks.
Well, either way, Diaz definitely takes the W. As I'm rocking the champ shirt right now, McGregor's behind us. We kind of just shit on him, but it's all right. Diaz definitely took that. Diaz took the 10-7 decision in that press conference, I would say.
Absolutely.
You know, the 10-7 round there, maybe even a 50-45. I don't know. They ended up with throwing water bottles of that one, right? Was that
so.
one? I don't know. There was so much crazy.
What is
shit
this? The Money Channel?
Connor laughed about that too.
Yeah. That was my
a good
favorite
one.
lead up to a fight ever. Watching Diaz clap back at him.
That was like the best banter.
Nate Diaz slapped someone this weekend. He
Oh,
slapped
the
one of the
full
full
send
send
guy.
guys. I was watching that. The guy, I guess he does like a meme channel where he was like roasting the fighters. So like he knew right away what Nate Diaz was talking about. Nate Diaz just wham.
Yeah, he knew right away. He did. He did smack the crap out of him. I remember. I forgot that even happened. I feel like that was one of the exciting things I was talking about when I originally said that there was exciting things happening. But should we react to this Pereira knockout real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Just to
Versus Strickland.
yeah, I just feel like maybe I want to see Sean Strickland get punched.
I've watched this like 100 times.
Can we just talk about how Pereira walks out? Like he's terrifying. Yeah, and he does that, and then he throws jab, cross, hook, and then he starts walking. I feel like it's just him getting into like a killer mindset. It's like I'm gonna destroy you now, but
Gosh, let's watch Sean Strickland walk without moving his head off the center line.
yeah. So let's start it here.
He's literally like reaching out his hands too. Like he's not even holding his hands up here. He's
Look at his lead hand too.
Reaching
it's like
out.
Literally, it's down, and you can just tell he's just reacting off of what Pereira's doing, and he's kind of just throwing right after Pereira does too. But he was worried about getting leg kicked by him. He almost tried to fight him Muay Thai style. He kept picking up his front knee like he was a Muay Thai fighter. Strickland did.
yeah,
And
he
it was
always does that.
It was like, but
He-
you don't want to go Muay Thai boxing with this guy.
He
who's really good.
legitimately what Sean Strickland did is he fought how he always
That's true.
fights.
Yes, yeah.
Which is why the UFC gave Pereira to him, because they want to throw Pereira in a title fight right away, so they didn't want to give him Derek Brunson or something, have him get wrestled. And Sean Strickland gave the UFC what they wanted, instead of throwing a wrench in their plans and trying to take him down.
Even though he said he was going to throw a wrench in the plans and maybe wrestle in that interview before the fight. He called out the UFC and said this is just a ploy to get this guy to Izzy. He knew what the UFC was doing before the fight. He said that on a press conference. But then he said that he was also going to throw a wrench into that plan because he might wrestle. My guy, you did not wrestle at all. You wrestled the ref after. That's it. That's literally it. But let's go back to this video now. He's going to walk right into this left hook, and then it's going to be all she wrote. So. Like what was that? Like
He went to parry a jab.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, because Pereira was throwing jabs, so Strickland went to parry it, and Pereira came over the top with a hook. See? Parry.
He did.
Yeah, fake the jab.
And then, not only was it probably the end of the fight when that punch happened, Strickland was able to get almost back to his feet before he caught this vicious backhand from Pereira on the way up.
Yeah, Pereira landed another one. Strickland was like almost like coming back kind of out of it. He goes, oh, right back down.
His hands were like he was posting on the ground to get up, so his chin was not covered.
No.
And he just got absolutely destroyed with the straight, went back.
He's in a bad spot.
And that was all. And
Now he's like, why'd you stop it? Poor guy.
It was. Boom.
Oh,
God.
man.
That was a nasty KO. But that's what happens when you try to box with someone like Alex Pereira. Hopefully that's not Izzy's future. Hopefully Izzy can figure it out. I don't know. Who are you rooting for?
I don't know.
I'm a big Izzy fan, so I like Izzy. I like everything
sit
about
back
Izzy.
and watch that one.
Come on, Izzy's like an anime guy. This should be.
That's true.
That's
I
your
do
guy.
appreciate the anime.
Not
but
the
he also,
cartoon stuff, though.
He said, yeah, he took it too far this week. He said that he's into like the cartoon, like
the stuff.
The stuff.
Yeah. You guys watch the press conference. You'll see. Strickland
I don't know
says it a
about
lot.
all that, Izzy, but either way, yeah, that fight's gonna be awesome. I'm glad it's set up now.
Yeah.
We got anything else to talk about, or is that it for today? Oh, we forgot to.
What was it? I feel like there was one more thing. Karma moment. That was Strickland.
We were gonna.
Dana White roast of the week. We can talk about Dana White not being there.
Oh yeah, where was he?
I don't know.
The casino.
Dana was with Rose. Dana, Rose, and Pat Barry have some weird relationship.
They were spotted in a hot tub.
They were.
Together.
Pat and Dana were kissing. Rose was just watching.
It's a weird thing.
No, there's nothing else though. But you guys need to definitely go follow all of our other social media accounts.
Our TikTok's blowing up.
There was one video now that Eddie put out about Alex Pereira where everyone is trying to make fun of Eddie for saying his name weird. You see all the comments for that?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, sound his name out. Wow, I'm like, I butchered his name for sure, too. Like, I have no idea.
That's all my TikTok videos. I guess I have an accent or I say things like a stupid Midwesterner, but
yeah, go follow our TikTok, Midwestern Martial Arts. Try to get us to 1,000 fast so we can start going live on that account as well. Because we want to start doing live streams for you guys so it's just like we can interact more. You guys can see our big, huge muscles. But anyway, follow our TikTok, follow our Instagram, Midwestern Martial Arts, Twitter, Midwestern Martial Arts again, and then I think we're gonna start doing stuff with Eddie's Discord as well, or whatever.
Yes, Discord and Twitch.
Yep,
so.
live streaming on Twitch. We're gonna be playing UFC 4.
Follow Midwestern Marks on Twitch.
Yeah,
because you'll see my political streams, which some of you might like, but then that's where we'll do our gaming UFC streams.
Yep, but thank you all for watching. Appreciate it.
Peace out.